Kitchen and another episode of our series continuing on Thanksgiving for Two that I'm doing for the Today's Modern Family website. Hi, Diane. We're going to get started right now on doing one of our desserts. I'm going to do two desserts because it is Thanksgiving. And I'm going to give you a couple of choices. This one is going to be a caramel apple galette. It's super easy and it really only requires a few ingredients. So let's get started. You're going to require some puff pastry, and I'll get the box out of the freezer so you can see what it looks like. Puff pastry looks like this. It comes in a box, and there's 2 sheets of puff pastry in here, and they're going to come in a package. It's going to look like this, okay? And then you can just put what you don't use back in the freezer. But you're going to need to let it sit on the counter for about 45 minutes before you can use it. So what I've done is I've unfolded this, and I have another piece of parchment over here that I have dusted with flour. I'm just going to go ahead and flick this down onto that. It is very, very sticky. I'm just going to peel that off. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to grab my rolling pin, and I'm going to dust this on the top with a little more flour. We're just going to roll this out a little bit to get rid of the creases. You don't want to roll it too much. You just want to get those creases out. Another benefit of putting it on the parchment is that you'll be able to lift it up later and put it on your baking sheet. Apple galette is really easy, and really you don't have to limit yourself to apples. You can use pears, you could use quince, you could use, in the summer you can use peaches, nectarines, you could use any kind of berries. It's entirely up to you, really. Okay, so there we have it. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to grab a fork. And we're going to, this is going to be like a free-form deal, so we're just going to prick the bottom because we don't want it to get too puffy under there. This will allow the steam to release. And then I'll be right back because we have to get some melted butter. Okay, so I melted some butter, and now we're just going to brush this with some melted butter. Not a whole lot. I just melted a few tablespoons. I'm probably not going to use it all. Alright, there's that. Now we have 2 Granny Smith apples that I sliced earlier thinly. I did not put them in water, acidulated water or anything. I just sliced them because this is home, and these apples are going to turn brown anyway when you bake them. And you can make this if you want. You don't have to use the puff pastry. You can just use pie crust. And then you can do a similar thing, and it's going to end up being a crostata. You can throw raisins or dried cranberries in here. It'll be lovely. But what we're going to do is we're going to throw some caramel bits in here, and that's what's going to make this into a caramel apple galette. All right. We got one runaway. You don't want to use a ton of these, just a little bit. A couple of tablespoons. Just so, you'll get the idea that there's caramel in there. It'll be fine. We'll put a few more on there after we get this all bundled up. So then just kind of bring this up on to itself. And this is where you will find wherever it was that you didn't put enough flour on your parchment paper. That's all right. Bring this up just like that. Give it a little squeeze. Put a few more of these caramel pieces in here. You can throw some cinnamon. You can throw. I'm just gonna let the caramel do all the talking today. The next thing I'm gonna do is grab an egg. You're gonna want to put an egg wash on this puff pastry. It's gonna make it look beautiful, and it's gonna help it brown up nicely. So, here's an egg. A little bit of water. Fork. Heat that up together. Throw your fork in the sink. Grab a different brush because we don't want to cross-contaminate egg and butter. Brush the outside here. And 2 people could easily eat this between dessert and breakfast the next day. Or if you have an early dinner, you can have dessert and then you can have a treat later in the afternoon or in the evening. I'm going to put a little sugar in here. I'm also going to put a little of this melted butter in there. And that's just going to cook off with all of those juices from the apple. My baking sheet. That's why we did it on a parchment paper. Okay? Please put this into a preheated 450-degree oven for 15 to 20 minutes. And here we go. When that's ready to come out of the oven, we'll be back. All right, our apple galette is ready to come out of the oven, and look at how beautiful that is. Puffy and beautiful. The apples are nice and tender. They've released their juices. The caramel has melted in there, and it's going to be beautiful. You need to give it time to cool and settle, and then it'll be time to serve it. You can serve this with whipped cream or vanilla ice cream. You can dust it on the top with some powdered sugar, and it'll be absolutely gorgeous. So, that is your apple galette made with easy puff pastry and a couple of apples. So, I hope that you try it. I hope that you love it. And until next time, I'll see ya.